Hi, I'm Delisa Lewis, and welcome to Green Fire Farm. We are a 40-acre family-owned farm, diverse farm. Diversity is key to that. And we are in the ancestral unceded stolen territories of the Cowichan First Nations. We are uninvited guests on these lands and do strive to learn our way into understanding the knowledge and stewardship and all that has come before us with not just the Cowichan First Nations and peoples who are here, but all of the Hulkaminam speaking peoples who lived and thrived in these territories and continue to do so. I am a certified organic farmer and grow mainly vegetables, fruits, and flowers. Have done so for around 25 years. But here on Green Fire Farm, this is one of the first opportunities in my lifetime as a continuing to learn farmer and grower of foods that I've begun to integrate crops with livestock on this farm, as well as perennial crops and forage. And so what led me to that in terms of a background is a long-time study of soils and soil health. And since I've been living in British Columbia around 2005, I've been with the University of British Columbia, the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, where I am a research associate and a lecturer in applied biology. So what we do here at Green Fire Farm is to bring together that research, teaching, outreach, as well as the daily practice of raising food and distributing food, selling food, all the moving parts to the puzzle. Today's field day brought together the research, teaching, and learning that we do at Green Fire Farm around cover cropping, but particular to this growing season in which we've been facing some pretty challenging drought conditions. So we are looking at the first of a pilot research project, a multi-species and grassland set-aside for summer cover. We looked at the end of that, basically what it looks like on this day versus over summer now that we've seeded our overwinter cover crops. So with the multi-species cover cropping, the objectives of that pilot project were to look at the potential for biomass accumulation as well as nitrogen contribution. And importantly, with summer cover crops, we want to look closely at weed suppression. And again, in this context of drought and limited access to water, irrigation water, we compared irrigated versus non-irrigated plots in that trial. But around the rest of the farm, we have ongoing challenges with establishing cover crop with limited water, or depending on where we're at, with too much water early in the spring or too much water potentially for establishing cover crops in the fall. So in addition to that research plot that focused on summer cover and then rolled into winter cover, we're looking at what I would call islands accessible cover cropping seeds and seed blends, as well as different seeding rates that have depended on basically the timing, whether before August 31st or between September 1st and 15th, and then what to do, how to strategize for seeding and seed rates after September 15th, because each one of those time slots becomes a new challenge with respect to largely, practically speaking, that just means adding more seeds for better success rates. So we looked at all of those different pieces, as well as a way to strategize for small areas when you have still standing crops. What do we do at Green Fire Farm in order to try to get those seeded with or without a tractor? So basically a little hands-on demo, as well as looking at those seeding rates, seeding dates, and different ways of incorporating the seed, getting that seed to soil contact. From my perspective as a learner and the grower on this farm with these soils, my takeaway is how to strategize irrigated versus non-irrigated cover crop seeds, one. And that means it's a very similar learning piece as the change in time from that before August 31st, September 1st to 15th, and then later. So whether you are trying to establish cover crop in an unirrigated space and time, or as the season and the day length decreases, the increase in the rate of seeding is an important takeaway. The different strategies for how to seed and to make sure that you get that good seed to soil contact, that's another really important takeaway. And there were many different strategies that different farmers and growers brought to the conversation. Just as we have a few different tools, from tractor size tools and more hand and manual tools, scale matters and the appropriate technology matters for the best establishment of the cover crop. That matters because the whole purpose of this, the goal for us and many others, is soil health, preserving the soil through the winter, through the summer, and reaching your goals for productivity as well as profitability.